We are neither nutritionists or medical providers. The topics discussed on this show are from our own research and experiences. Please consult your medical provider before attempting anything discussed on this show. Welcome to another episode of
Sjogren Strong. This is Brian.
And this is Lupe.
And yes, this is your weekly podcast discussing how to live an active and healthy lifestyle despite your diagnosis of Sjogren's.
I was wondering if it was going to happen this week.
Hey, we committed to weekly.
You know why? Because I'm still working from home and my days are still just one big day. So,
Yes, it is kind of strange. I woke up Saturday thinking it was...
oh, he got up, he hopped the shower, and he's like, it's Tuesday. I'm like, what?
I was mistaken. Let's leave it at that.
He was preparing his lunch and making a shake. And I'm like, what are you doing?
It's Saturday.
Oh, it's funny.
Today, we once again are talking about COVID-19 and hydroxychloroquine and what some of these studies are showing now that they've been treating coronavirus patients with this med.
I was listening to the news because that's what I do lately all day while I work. I have the news on. And I heard this lady talking, I think it was CNN, and she was talking about how, Plaquenil, I don't know how to say the other word, and they were talking about how it wasn't working because the patients who they actually gave it to, more people had passed away.
There were some studies in Iran. There were some studies in France, but I want to revert to some studies in South Carolina, Virginia, mainly with the VA.
You know how they were talking about hydroxychloroquine was working, right? If you're on it. I think because I'm on Plaquenil, I just assume that I'm safe and I'm not going to get the coronavirus because I'm on Plaquenil. And since it's saving people, then I'm good, right? So, I mean, I haven't been going out, but I don't feel I'm in danger as much.
Which is obviously proven to become a false sense of security.
That's the word I was looking for. I had a false sense of security.
And yeah, so let me revert to these studies, and I'm going to link these in the show notes below so you can go read them for yourselves if you would like. This first one is coming out of sciencenews.org. And it reads, meanwhile, researchers in South Carolina and Virginia examined records of 368 male patients with COVID-19 admitted to the VA on March 9th through April 11th. The retrospective study also showed no benefit to taking hydroxychloroquine. And hydroxychloroquine did stop the coronavirus from infecting monkey cells in a lab. So researchers have hoped that there might be a calming effect for COVID-19. However, that was not the claim. But let's go back to the beginning. People were talking about hydroxychloroquine. The president referenced hydroxychloroquine. As we said before, doctors started prescribing themselves, family members, loved ones hydroxychloroquine, which depleted the amount of hydroxychloroquine available for those people who've been on it for years.
I'm included.
And drove Kaiser to stop filling prescriptions and really caused some havoc for those of us who depend on this drug daily.
Mm-hmm.
And then this blurb came from Healthline.com. On April 24th, the FDA again warned consumers against taking hydroxychloroquine or chloroquine unless closely supervised by a healthcare professional. And people that don't need it, that were taking it, were...
oh, it was counterproductive.
Right. It was
hurting them.
It was hurting them more than protecting them.
But how are they going to get a prescription? They probably knew a guy.
I mean, you know, I'm sure we've all heard the stories about the doctors who will prescribe whatever we think ails us. So there's that. But again, these two stories will be linked in the show notes below.
I've said it before. Please try to have, I'm not going to call it a stockpile, right? Don't stockpile it like toilet paper. But fill your prescription, even though if you don't need it, if you think you have plenty and your prescription is up for refill it. And then, use the old stuff and leave the newer stuff for later. You know what I mean? Just cycle it out for occasions like these, because, hopefully something like this doesn't happen again, but it's an emergency or something's going to happen.
High profile people, those with influence in today's world, the Kardashians, President Trump, they say something about bleach and now you can't find bleach on the shelves.
I was going to say that. Don't you all go drinking Lysol and bleach and injecting yourself with it. I've seen the funniest memes.
You know what? I don't think anyone listening to this show is silly enough to even think that would be viable.
You know what? I actually hadn't heard the president. I just tune him out, right? When he comes on, I change the TV. But I started seeing all these memes. And I'm like, what's going on with all these memes? So what did I do? I'm like, I know he said something.
I actually heard it and I was like, what? But anyway, we're not trying to turn this into a political show, either side of the aisle. However.
Oh, you know what's funny? Actually, like, whoever makes Lysol, they're like, they had to do a public announcement. They're like, don't start ingesting it. It was funny.
But I'm sure there was a run on Lysol and Clorox and everything else. And
funny stuff.
It's funny stuff. We really wanted to drive home the fact that having a little extra med on hand is optimal. And it's first in, first out. So the oldest stuff you have is what you take and you slowly bring it up. Most of these drugs have a couple years of shelf life on them when you fill them. And you can have a little bit on hand. You can ask your doc for a prescription. Hey, I'm going on a trip. Can I get a little extra? Hey, I accidentally dumped them down the sink. Can I get another prescription?
Oops.
But have a little extra on hand. I know at first the doc was cool with you halving, and you would half and not take the other half. So you were saving some up to get the stockpile you had. Mm-hmm. I know you have a lot of the extra eye drops.
Well, I'm not feeling that anymore right now, but I do have a lot of the Restasis. The ophthalmologist told me once upon a time that keep them in the fridge, and even though they expired, as long as the color is the same, keep using them. And so I do that, and I've said it before on an eye episode, but first thing in the morning, I put a couple of drops in my eye, and it's like heaven. It feels so good because my eyes are so dry. Not to make it about the eyes, but even though sometimes the Restasis haven't expired, sometimes they do irritate my eyes, and it's time to throw them away. So
she's super careful, but we haven't had any discolor on us.
Never.
It's always been that milky-ish.
Yeah, it's always that color. But like I said, maybe my eyes are just sensitive because sometimes they really irritate them. And like I said, I know it's time to throw that batch away.
Yeah, and most drugs, and obviously, again, we're not docs, but most drugs, even once they expire, they don't like turn into poison. They start reducing their potency. But talk to your doctor about each and every drug you have on hand and find out what does happen as the drug ages and what can I save, what can't I save, what should I have a little extra of, what shouldn't I have a little extra of. Put a plan together.
I keep my meds after they expire a couple of months, and I try to use them, and they work for me.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I don't throw them away.
I don't think you have a drug that you're currently prescribed that we, A, don't have a little surplus of, and B, that you haven't taken expired before and there have been any adverse effects.
Right.
And I remember we've had that conversation with Reba.
Yeah.
So, but again, check with your doctor, your pharmacist, your medical provider. Come up with a plan. Have a plan because things seem to be getting better with COVID. I don't think we're on a downhill slide yet. I think there's going to be more cases popping up as things relax and ease. I mean, they opened up the beaches here in Southern California and it was like nothing was going on. And I kind of expect to see that in 2 to 3 weeks, we're going to start to see an increase in cases because of this behavior.
Yeah, they were talking about closing the beaches. When I saw photos of the beaches, I was like, oh my God, we're in trouble.
Yeah. So
Because I think they're still talking about it on the news, but not as much as before. So people kind of get relaxed,
and Georgia opened up as of the time we're recording this today, quite a few services. Ventura County, which is a county north of us, they're opening up restaurants and gyms and salons and barbershops today. It's still, limited occupancy. You've got to wear a mask. Costco and Walmart now, if you don't have a mask on, they won't let you in.
I think Trader Joe's also.
Yeah, Trader Joe's is that way. Micro Center, I don't know if I told that story here, but a computer supply store I go to that's around the corner from the office is they limit the amount of people in. You have to have a mask. They spray sanitizer in your hands and watch you massage it in before they let you in the store. They're pretty hardcore, and I respect that.
Hey, speaking of barbershops, I gave him a haircut.
I've got a COVID cut, and it's fly.
Whoop, whoop. It's better than what it was. I gave you a better haircut, though sometimes you go pay $25. So, hey.
That's a true
there's
statement.
That.
But, we're doing okay. We broke out board games. We've been playing board games on the weekends and chores and kind of deep cleaning certain areas of the house we normally don't get to and working out a little bit. And how's the new enamel working out for you?
New enamel's working well. I like it. I mean, my teeth were never really sensitive, but like to cold and actually, I take that back. They were a little bit sensitive sometimes to cold, and I think it's been working well. I like it.
Leaving your mouth feeling minty fresh.
Very minty all day long.
That's cool. If you guys don't know what New Enamel is, last week's episode we had the doctor on from New Enamel, and they talked about their product and service, and it's something you can do from home if you're in Cali. If you're not in California, call them, and they may be able to do something with your dentist and get you their products. But they mail everything to you. It's pretty cool. It's not just toothpaste. It's toothpaste and varnish and all kinds of good stuff.
And if you live in the Bay Area, you should call him and go check him out. He was very knowledgeable of Sjogren's.
Yeah, they were located in Santa Rosa. He was extremely knowledgeable and very helpful. I think it was a good episode.
Yep, definitely.
Well, awesome. We appreciate you listening to Sjogren's Strong. And we thank those of you who are following us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And I'm trying to do a better job on Twitter. I think I'm picking up. We're getting some followers there.
I should do a better job also because I've relaxed a little bit on social media because there's nothing going on. I don't go out.
Yeah,
I got nothing to say.
Here's a picture of me in my backyard, and here's a picture of me in my backyard. And
on the couch, eating an Otter Pop. But you know what? Speaking of staying at home, I got to tell you guys, I feel really good. I haven't really been fatigued lately, and maybe that's because I don't have to get up and rush and get ready to work
or shower.
I mean, I shower like twice a week.
She's like, I have a Skype meeting today. I need to change my shirt.
I'm still wearing my flannel pajamas on. But anyway.
Too funny. But thank you, everybody listening. Thank you for interacting with us on social media.
Until next time, sip constantly and stay hydrated.